There, you got the there we are.
Oh,
Background.
Background's got. Oh, my bad. There it is. There we go. Hey, we're on.
No, I got it. Hey, fresh out the box. Stop, look, and watch. Ready, get set. It's the Greg Cherry Show. Welcome, everybody. If you get that reference, if you know, you know. I am Greg Cherry, joined alongside the former four-time WTC champion, Jeff Meacham, who has the opportunity. Yes. Well, we'll get into that in a little bit. You might have seen it.
Yes, you saw the trailers if you pay attention.
If you follow me on Twitter at Greg Cherry Brand, then you probably know that as well. But nonetheless, we are going to get started with. We're going to get into some wrestling football talk. Maybe not as much football this week because it was a huge week in wrestling. We'll hit some weird thoughts, and of course the Wednesday Q&A. And as always, where's the banner? There it is. If you want to donate to the show, if you want a super chat, which of those are available now, you can do so
on both sides
through the regular YouTube super chat, or you can do it through the Streamlabs link. Either one is appreciated. Streamlabs is better.
Yes.
If we're going to be completely honest about it.
All money is good money, for the most part.
Exactly. So we're going to get started. I don't know about you, but did something happen in the last week?
You know, I was literally in my father's car driving up the 15 heading for Vegas and SummerSlam, and my goodness, I heard a rather large pop from the Midwest somewhere. Goodness sakes.
And if you saw the reaction video, which I just posted a couple days ago, I don't know why it took me so long to post it, but
right.
If you saw that, I was genuinely surprised that he was actually there. I figured there was going to be like some chicanery, some shenanigans in there.
Yes.
You figure MJF just to get the heel heat. He doesn't need any help getting heel heat.
No.
But it would be an MJF move to come out to that song.
100%.
But he didn't. It was straight up CM Punk. And I sat there kind of – I didn't show the rest of my part through the promo because it was just me kind of listening. And I don't know if anybody wants to watch me sit there for 15 minutes straight.
Yeah.
So that's why I cut it after his entrance.
Yes,
but man,
very, very cool though. I mean, you know, we were doing it we were doing the show last week, and somebody spun the wheel and got the CM Punk entrance, and we were all saying a couple more days we're going to see it for real, and you know, it completely manifested itself, 110%.
It did, and I said, hey, if he doesn't show up on Friday, then you have mine to go off of. But
that's right.
He showed up Friday. He did it. He dove into the crowd. Did all that stuff.
That was super cool. That he's like, you know what, the hell with the COVID. I don't give a shit. Just dove right into that crowd. I was like, yes, Punk.
That was the first thing I thought of. It was like in the COVID environment, but hey, you're not going to have a moment like that every day.
You only get one first time back after 7 years, and the people have been chanting your name every step of the way. You only get one of those. So. Yeah, just tremendous. I mean, that's why I wore this shirt today because my Punk shirt isn't here because they're sold out. There's that.
I eventually, maybe next week, I need to wear my Britsburg shirt. It's been sitting there for a couple weeks. I want to wear it, and I haven't done it yet.
I would say if you're gonna wear it, if you're holding off for reasons unknown to yourself, September 7th, Mikey's back with Stat Boy Sports Bar. The next day. NFL that week is NFL preseason, NFL season starting. Put the Pittsburgh shirt on. Hell with it.
I could do that. I could do that. When does the regular season start? The 9th?
I think it's the day after we air the Greg Cherry show that week. Yeah. Okay. So the 9th.
So the nice thing about the show being on Wednesday, right, is that we can do a recap of the previous week of football and predict the next week. Yeah. I love the time slot just for that reason.
That's exactly why Mikey asked me to move the sports bar to permanently Tuesdays. I'm like, we did that already. Tell me that at the end of last season. We're going to go Tuesdays. And now with me having one-on-one, usually on Thursdays, boom, problem solved. There you go. So
exactly. So it's an exciting time. I wasn't planning on transitioning to the football because there's not a whole lot to talk about. We're still in the preseason.
No.
Steelers were whooping all kinds of ass, which is nice for me to see. It's still a preseason, so I'm not getting too excited. You know, bring that to the regular season, and we'll see exactly where we are. But
the Steelers had everything going for them last year except dumb luck. So, we'll see what happens.
I mean, they started the season 11-0. They probably really shouldn't have, but they did.
No,
and then they just.
It was like they started so awesomely, but once they fell, man, they fell like a freaking tree. Like, it was ugly. Fugly. Fugly was the word. Yeah,
I mean, I hate to make this comparison because it's a team I don't care for.
Right.
But it was a few years ago when the Boston Red Sox were up 9 games in the AL East in September and then did not make the playoffs.
Right? Like, how does that even a thing? It's so bad.
That is quite a tank because it's like you lead the AL East, you're up by 9 games, and then you just lose your complete freaking mind.
Yeah, it was so bad.
Oh,
I will say this.
That was awesome.
Well, I mean, if you're a Red Sox fan, you're ready to start, grabbing the razor blade. But other than that, you're good to go. I will say this. I was talking with my dad yesterday. The Diamondbacks are 40 games out of first place. It's like, why even keep just stop and get ready for next year? Like, for real, 40 games out of first place. Like, how do you even allow that to happen in August? Jesus.
I mean, they were World Series champions 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Exactly. Which it seems like a long time, but it's really not.
No, because you figure, in theory, the postseason or they have a different name for it. No, it's still postseason. The playoffs start, end of September. So you've got another month, and the freaking Diamondbacks are not gonna. They're definitely not going to be playing past the end of September. Let's not kid ourselves, but they need to seriously go back into their clubhouse and go, what the shit, and figure it out before April. Wow.
Speaking of records,
yes.
How did I not know the Yankees have won their last 10 straight?
Because I'm out here in LA watching the Dodgers win the last how many straight and the last how many out of how many, man. The Dodgers and the Yankees are kicking that ass.
Which it's a good time to get hot right before.
I was going to say.
I mean, it's still the end of August, and there's September to go. But even still,
the problem with the Dodgers is the Giants have the best record in baseball. So we're sitting here we're sitting here treading water trying to keep up.
Yeah,
bastards, freaking Giants. Anyway,
well, I mean, you were talking about the Diamondbacks being 40 games back. The Pirates are 31 games back in the NL Central.
It's like I think the Pirates are that one team that everybody that wears black and gold goes, yeah, they're here, but
yeah, they're like the hey, let's just keep them in a closet. Maybe nobody will ask. And
that's right.
And you see like Penguins, Stanley Cups. We've had 3 in the last 20 years. Steelers, we have 6 Super Bowl rings. Pirates, the who?
Have you seen the Yankees? They're right there.
But it's one of those things where, I mean, Pittsburgh doesn't have a basketball team to fall back on either, so you can't even go there.
No,
it's like Pittsburgh. You got the 3 main. I mean, you got the Pitt Panthers, but they're not black and gold.
right. And talking about black and gold, with all these changes rumored to be going down at the CWC. I wonder what NXT is going to look like being the black and gold brand and how they're going to fare if all these changes go through. Not good.
I don't know. I wonder if it's going to be like noticeable changes or if it's going to be like slowly over time and it kind of like we like adapt to it, and then we just kind of accept where it's at because all the changes happen very slowly.
Right. I will say this. I will give it the benefit of the doubt for watching it overnight while I was trying to get work done. But this was the first time I watched NXT. I go, God, is this show over yet? That was a long 2 hours Tuesday night. Like a long 2 hours. And I was just like, eek.
I've been really bad about my weekly viewing of shows. The only one I've been the only 2 I've been consistently good with are Dynamite and Rampage. These are the only ones I've been good with.
Right, and that's the thing to do right now, right? I mean, our buddy Virtue's talking about, he's basically cut out everything except Raw and SmackDown and the AEW televised shows, and that's not a bad strategy because there's a lot of content out there that if you're not into the niche stuff like NXT or whatever, you're kind of just sitting there just staring at your TV for really no reason. Yes, NXT is a WWE product, yes, but we talked about this. They moved to USA, during the whole AEW launch, and it was just it's slowly become less than what it was. I'm not even going to try to sugarcoat that. NXT is not what it was when it was a network exclusive, when it was the developmental brand only. So I'm, if the trend continues and I actually watch NXT during the NXT time slot Tuesday nights, and I find that same feeling, I'm going to be like, you know what? I'm going to kind of roll in line with Virtue and just go, yeah, take off the DVR setup. Kind of over it.
What I do, especially for WWE programming, because there's so much of it, is, and I've said this before, I watch the top 10 on YouTube.
That's what Aaron's been doing. Yeah.
It's 4 or 5 minute recap, and you can pretty much catch up on everything. And it saves you all the time. You don't have to focus on how bad some of the storylines are, especially with Raw. And Nick Khan saying that Raw should go 4 hours. Who is this guy, and where did he come from, and why is he making I hate to make this comparison. He's making Donald Trump look like a decent human being at this point. What in the world is Trump run WWE better than Nick Khan?
Well, I wouldn't give that too much benefit of the doubt. Maybe he makes Donald Trump look like an intelligent president. I don't know about a decent human being. That's a big stretch. But yeah, Nick Khan's business.
Some of the stuff he said.
Oh no!
Did you get the notes from that interview?
Oh yeah. I've trust me. I keep up more than people realize. I just try not to focus on so much because God, it's just some of the stuff that comes out of his mouth. I go, okay, where is the social media police? Getting this guy, we freaking ban 45 from everything, and Nick Khan just, it's like,
here's stop. The thing. I don't mean to take your phrase, but if WWE continues to make record profits, it's almost like they don't care what the in-ring work is. The WWE will sell itself.
Yeah, it's exactly right. He has become that rare thing where he, and by definition, the brand he basically runs now, feels they're untouchable. And that's a very, very scary place to be for a company that, whether they want to admit it or not, has a lot of piranhas nipping at their heels. Mm-hmm. Not just AEW. I mean, I'm not going to sit there and say that, Impact Wrestling is going to, be where they were 20 years ago. Holy crap. Let me take that in for a minute. Almost 20. But, Impact working with AEW and the NWA working with them and AAA working with them and New Japan working. It's that forbidden door has become a freaking steel double door ready to smack the McMahons and Nick Khan in the face. And they're not trying to emphasize that fact, but it is a fact. And I'm not going to, oh, yeah, that's just your opinion, Jeff. No, it's not. It's really not, because all these companies realize that whether WWE wants to admit it or not, their product has been so oversaturated in the market. People are looking to I mean, you mentioned watching the top 10. I only watch Raw in the 3-hour format if I catch it at 5 o'clock my time. Otherwise, I'm on Hulu the next day watching 90 minutes and not dealing with the extra bullshit. I'm not.
I don't blame you. And I've tried, especially since crowds have returned, I've tried to watch Raw because I figured, and maybe it was naive of me to think so, that, okay, now the fans are back, maybe the product will feel a little bit different now that it's not in this controlled scientific environment known as the Thunderdome.
Right.
But no, it's just the same show in front of fans.
And I will say this. I let my own, caught up in the glow of SummerSlam and being there live with 50,000 people around me, and the return of Becky Lynch and the return of Brock Lesnar, and watching what happened in the aftermath of the main event and all the things that went down. I watched Raw with higher hopes than I normally had, and I will give them credit. It was nowhere near as bad as it's been, but that shouldn't be the point you shoot for. Let's not be as bad as we've been.
Yeah.
No, you need to be the freaking flagship program of the number one company on the planet, and you're not doing that.
Mm-hmm. No, it's got some serious Nitro 2000 vibes.
You know what? I was thinking that a lot during the early part of the Thunderdome era. I think they've turned that particular corner, thank God, because, man, I've been watching WCW 2000 lately, and I just go, Am I watching real time? Like, what's happening? So, by the grace of
at,
God,
at least they were down to Nitro 2000 and not Thunder 2000.
if they'd been Thunder 2000, they would have been sold to the freaking the Pinto car company by now. Are you kidding me? So,
Tony Khan would have snatched them up and be like, "Yeah, we'll run the company. What do we care?"
I'll con you, Nick.
Khan.
Thank you. Where's my Star Trek tip when I need it? Damn it. I will say this.
I did want to ask you, but I hate to interrupt.
Go ahead. By all means, please.
I wanted to ask you specifically because you hate watching the SummerSlam 2014 main event, what you thought of the end of SummerSlam since you were there.
Okay, so
the off the air stuff.
I was gonna say, Greg, hand to God, I was in the middle of an aisle. I couldn't go anywhere. I felt so trapped, and I was just like, I need to get out of here. And my dad's like, "You okay?" I'm like, "No, I need to get out of here now, like right now."
Yeah.
It wasn't 16-2 by any means, but even those two suplexes and that one F5, I'm going, oh my god. Yeah, I mean, like it was like as soon as he got in the ring, I'm like, oh god, like dude, I had therapy when I got back. Thank God. I had therapy on Tuesday. Yesterday, I was like, oh, thank God, Suzanne. Oh, it was so bad. Like it's funny, people don't really, bring it up too much on what do you call it on in public forums, but sensory triggers are a thing, man. And when he walked down there and John was still in the ring, I'm going, oh no. And then when he got in the ring after Roman had bounced, I was double flipping, and of course, we heard what happened, and I saw it. I didn't watch, for the record. I did not watch it happen. I had my head down. I was the only one sitting when the bell rang because I was just so not irritated that Roman won, but that I had been led to believe that there would be a different outcome. So I was just like, whatever. I was irritated, not upset, and then the music hit and I got upset.
I'm surprised that Roman won off of only one spear.
Yeah. And again, I'm just like I'm picking on him here, and I'm really not trying to, but I can't resist. I think what happened was he speared him so hard, what was left of the back of his hair on his head flew into Reno, and he got so discombobulated that he got pinned. Man, I don't know who did his hair Saturday, but man, once he started getting the poofies, oh God, so bad. Like just seriously, go prototype in 2001 to shave that shit. Like for real.
He must need it for his roles or something.
I mean, I think. Again, I've not seen Suicide Squad yet. Dylan went and saw it, I guess, and he liked it a lot. But I don't know what the Peacemaker's hairstyle is when he's not in the gear. But I can't imagine a DC anti-hero, whatever you want to call it, has a hairstyle where he's got the freaking Sideshow Bob Carrot Top thing going in the front and freaking Homer Simpson bald spot in the back. I don't see how that's a thing. So, and again, I'm not want to talk about hairstyles and baldness because, but wow, John. Love you, brother, but wow. We were going to talk about Becky, so since we were out the returns.
Yeah.
Man, okay, you have been a diehard Sasha person the whole way through since they came up. Same with me and Charlotte. Becky has been kind of like the consistent one, other than being gone for the pregnancy thing. She's been the one that, she's been the Arn Anderson. Right, like Charlotte will have the freaking spectacular moment. Sasha will, get the gritty of the in-ring work done. Becky's just unreliable, right?
If we're going to compare horsemen to horsewomen, Charlotte's Rick, obviously.
Right.
Sasha is probably Tully.
Oh yeah, because she's just the. Well, you know what? Sasha was the Tully until Bayley flipped that switch. Bayley's that heel you like to hate, but God darn it, she's so obnoxious. You just want to smack her. That's so Tully. That's so Tully.
I meant more for the ring work.
Right, and okay, so and that's why I would put Sasha with Barry, because there was no more gifted athlete in the Horsemen when he was a Horseman than Barry Windham. I mean, Dusty said that for years. Like the most gifted athlete, natural athlete, that had no business, baby. Like he said that for years. So I put Sasha in the Barry category. Becky was the enforcer. Becky was the the old reliable. She'd be there in a heartbeat. The fans, the internet fans, let me be clear on that, just took a big giant dump on that whole thing preemptively. And I say that because it happened after she came back, she wasn't even done getting the 3 count. And people were shitting on him like it was the worst thing ever. Guys, SmackDown airs in 2 days. Let that thing breathe, man. Like, seriously.
Okay, I have to ask how it went over in the arena, because on TV it might have come across differently, but
yeah,
I
did. Right. I did watch it back Monday when I was home and actually settled in and not awake for 3 days. And it came off different on TV. I'm not going to lie. We loved it. I mean, Denise Salcedo said the same thing on Twitter. I had my head, down lamenting Carmella's involvement in that match, and boom, whoa, I was not looking up. So my pop was, oh crap, there's the music. I had to get on my feet in a hurry. So great reaction. They were happy she was back. They didn't seem all of that irked that it was basically a squash match. Mm-hmm. That horrible 6-letter word that goes around way too much after somebody loses like that. I got sick of seeing that B word like within 10 minutes. Like, oh my God, she's not been, guys. Like, and I say that only because, again, we haven't seen the follow-up yet. If you watched her go up the aisle, Bianca was like, all right, you got me. And then Becky was doing this. Like, there was respect shown back and forth in the moment. If these rumors are to be true, rumor anyone is to be believed about, Becky's turning heel and they're going to get the babyface machine behind Bianca more. I don't know how I feel about that, because the women's division needs a solid, strong babyface, and Becky coming back is that person for me.
Okay, well, let me say what I think of this, because there was another moment in wrestling where a very popular figure got squashed in less than 20 seconds.
Right.
It was somewhere I happened to be at, WrestleMania 28.
Oh, yeah.
When it happened to Daniel Bryan. And honestly, people look back on that now and say, that was probably the best thing that could have happened to him.
Yep.
So I want to ride that same train with Bianca Belair, because people love Bianca Belair. She's an amazing athlete. She's a fantastic personality. She's got a great entrance. She's just fantastic. With Becky coming back, getting that shot, and I knew as soon as she went for the handshake and then did the forearm, I was like, oh, Becky's kind of a heel right now. Like, right. I picked up on that before anybody reported it on the internet. It's like, you have to look at the subtleties. It's not like, oh, that's just a Becky thing to do. It's like, no, that was kind of a cheap shot to go after the champion like that.
Yeah.
Like, that's... Granted, it's also like a Becky thing to go after whoever, but I felt the way it happened, it was kind of a heel move.
And let's not, if we're talking in terms of storyline context, Bianca Belair a year and a half ago would have done the exact same thing. Mm-hmm. But once you're a baby face, you can't be wronged. It's not right. It's like, no, man. Bianca come out there on Friday, I guarantee she's like, you know what? She got me, but you know what? I'll get her next time. Mm-hmm. And to be fair, the babyface was prepared for Sasha, but any champion will tell you within the historical context, you always be prepared for the unexpected. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, she's beat Carmella about 25 times, and so it's like, okay, whatever, let's get this over with, But within the context of the WWE storyline bubble, we've known Becky's been cleared to go for a while. Charlotte's talked about her 3 straight weeks on TV. Yeah. Throwing that red herring at us. Literally a red herring, because it was on Raw. So it was a red brand. So,
Red hair.
Ha-ha! See? There you go. Picking up on shit. So, I don't fault either one of the ladies or the company. Yet. I will reserve judgment for whatever show I end up doing that happens as far as just me or with you or whatever after SmackDown airs Friday. Because I want to see the follow-up. I want to see what happens with them, and I want to see what happens with Brock and Roman. And I want to pray to any wrestling god, including you, Bradshaw, if you're watching, please somebody get Brock Lesnar to a stylist. Please. Zachary Bryan called. He wants his haircut back from 20 years ago. Seriously, like, for real. Like, God almighty, why?
Listen, I think it who you got to tell Brock Lesnar to get a haircut?
Well, it was funny. We were talking about that. I was talking with a friend of mine yesterday. I was like, dude, neck up, he was a mess. Neck down. I'm not telling him his neck up was a mess.
Yeah.
He looked like he could go through that entire arena and
he
not
looks even more jacked than when he left.
Well, yeah, remember he's up there in Canada, raising the kids and hanging, being on the barn. He's got nothing to do but train, baby. Like he's sitting there in Canada. Even in August, it's freaking cold up there because Canada's a weird place. So it's like you gotta do something to keep warm. If Rena's not, wanting to keep busy that way, gotta hit the weights. And damn it, he's been hitting the weights. Like he looked like I could see from where I was sitting. And God, I was down at club level. I had been upgraded. Thank God for seat upgrades through the random system. But even where I was sitting, you could see just how big he was. Like Jesus.
Yeah, I watched him go back on Saturday. I was like, how is he bigger now?
Yeah,
like it's insane.
What's funny is he's not as big as he was in 2002, fresh out of college, still wet behind the ears, Brock Lesnar, because NCAA Brock was a freaking monster, right? But his body is, he's 20 years more mature, so he's an adult and he's jacked, which is just absurd. And I will say this, even at club level, from where I was sitting at SummerSlam, Omos is a gargantuan human being. Like that dude is Shaquille O'Neal dwarfing tall. Like I'm not even exaggerating. Like
I believe it.
Like I've had those moments where I've sitting like not on the same eye level as the ringside area, but like up a little bit, and like Khali would come out or Big Show would come out. Omos gave me the same, like, whoa, that dude is huge. Like I imagine if Shaq and Paul White had stayed with WWE and there was still that, thing or whatever, and I was face to face with Shaq and Omos and Shaq going, damn. So,
well, speaking of Shaq,
yes,
and yes, Jeff, it's 9 days till the big day. I'll see you next week.
Yes, I am. Again, circumstances are what they are, and I'm not gonna be able to be there, but I will definitely be there in spirit. And like I said when he was on the show the other day, it's the last full week of his freedom, so enjoy it while you can, Big G.
Hey, I've been married 10 years. It's not all bad.
Well, I know. Well, the thing is, you have the right person. Jen's a wonderful person. So is G's fiance. I've had less luck in that department.
Yeah, it is what it is. But anyway.
Also a shirt on teespring.com, by the way.
Yeah. I need to plug the Teespring store more. I have another design, which is completely non-wrestling related, which I'm hoping to have out tonight.
Oh, there you
go. As long as I get the Jack of all trades editing done, which is a plan.
Right.
So keep a lookout for my Twitter at Greg Cherry Brand for the next design.
You bring up Jack of all trades.
I do. Yes.
Dude, I am so excited because much like those who have preceded me, Terry Funk, Ric Flair, every other freaking guy that says Mick Foley, retirement is never a finality in wrestling. And I am living proof now because tomorrow afternoon, God help me, there it is. Good grief. I've been sucked back into the WTC world, and I have to deal with stuff I have no idea what's going to happen, what's going to be thrown at me, because it's not just trivia anymore. This show is bonkers.
Yeah, it's not just trivia. I mean,
no,
it's trivia adjacent, I guess.
Right, exactly.
You have to have like some base level of wrestling knowledge to compete in this, and but it's not just wrestling. And I mean, what a lineup this is. I mean, you got there's obviously WTC legend. You have you're a 4-time champ.
I know, but it's like I'm not taking it back. I'm not going to lie. Anyway.
You have Liam, who is the website manager of Wrestle Talk. You have Tempest, who is the current Quizlemania champion.
Oh, wow.
And then you have the current Jack of all trades champion, Andy Datson. And Tempest and Andy used to be the Quizlemania tag team champions. There's a whole lot going on here in just the graphic alone.
So should I brush up my British between now and tomorrow? Because I feel a little left out.
Well, Tempest is Canadian, so
same thing.
It is not the same thing.
Look at their flag. Tell me I'm wrong. They're okay. You know what? Here, wait a minute.
Wait. Canada
with the freaking Union Jack. Get off my ass. They still worship the queen up there anyway. Don't give me shit,
I was
Jerry.
gonna say their flags are nothing anywhere close to the same.
No,
The
but
Canada
still...
flag is 2 red rectangles, a white rectangle, and a big ass maple leaf. You know how I know that? Lance Storm, because he had it on TV every week. I actually knew it before that, but I'm just making a wrestling.
And I also knew it because I was posing with the Canadian champion at the Nitro Grill in Vegas, which is no longer a thing. Damn it. Anyway, yeah. But dude,
and you had the champion of Canada all the way back in season 1, so I figured you'd know that.
Trust me, being a legend, I know these things. If you're gonna give it to me, I'm gonna run with it, brother. But I will say this, it's very daunting. I'm not gonna lie, because you mentioned the stats in that room. I'm a little nervous, so we'll see how things go tomorrow. And one way or the other, you're going to have a post game, which I never get a chance to watch because I'm usually doing a live show when you go on for your post game. But damn it, I'm watching tomorrow, win, lose, or draw, because I really want to see what the fallout is and what happens next. Because that room alone makes me think Jack of all trades is really going to start picking up steam in a hurry.
I hope so. I mean, that's the goal too. Like, I don't want to be, and I've said this before, I don't want to be a competitor to Quizlemania because that's an absurd goal right now. I just want to have an outlet to have fun. And that's basically what the show is. It's an outlet to have fun. Yep. Would it be nice to get some views? Obviously, because that's what the YouTube channel's for. But for me, just to have fun with the show, just for everybody to participate and have a good time, that's what I want.
Right. Yep. So I will look forward to it, whatever it plays out, because, anyway. But tomorrow's going to be busy one way or the other, because whether I, continue on or whatever, I've got the interview with the folks behind the Halloween Rising convention out here in LA, man. And then, Friday I've got 2 shows going up because Tats became an editing nightmare for me. So last week. So, 2 shows yesterday, 2 shows tomorrow, 2 shows Friday. Where's the black 10-gallon hat saying this is going to pick up? Because it done picked up.
Yeah.
Over on Jeff Meacham.
All right.
I love every bit of it.
Last week we had this segment interrupted due to a wheel spin, which was perfectly fine. I don't mind segments being interrupted with your guys' generosity. I'm not going to complain about that one bit.
No.
And I'll send out the link again. Yeah, I'll send out the link again because I know it didn't go to a couple.
Right. Yeah, no, I noticed that too when we were going there. I'm like, it didn't hit everything. So if you'd like to donate to the show. There it is. There we go. If you don't see it now, you don't see it, kids. Straight up. So
if you want to donate during the course of this or the questions, and then we'll take care of all the spins and all that stuff after the fact.
There you go.
I always say that if we had like 4 or 5 spins at the end of the show, like we had to go off air, I take care of everybody's spins and we go over. It's fun.
Yeah, and don't forget, if you if you donate $100 or more, you can issue a challenge to Greg right now for the WTC World title. So there you go.
Yep.
It's not money in the bank. You don't cash in right now because the host isn't ready for 20 questions, by the way.
Well, here's an interesting thing since you brought up the cash in thing.
Right.
And I don't know. I think you were on when I explained the concept of this. But
okay.
If the champion retains the title 5 times,
right,
that championship basically turns into Money in the Bank, and they can cash in that championship whenever for a WTC title shot.
Oh, you mean Jack of all trades? Okay, wow. Yeah. I don't know if I missed that when we were gonna. Oh, wow. Okay, cool. All right.
Yeah. So in theory, if you won tomorrow and then were to retain 5 times, then we would have to ask somebody to have 20 questions on the ready because you would be able to cash that in. Heck, you could cash it in on the Greg Cherry show.
Aaron, are you watching?
Yeah. So, and they would have to be ready like at any time to cash it in. So
that's good to know. Okay.
That's only if you retain it 5 times in a row. It has to be 5 in a row. Like, if you have like 4 and then you lose it and then you win it back, you have to start the 5 again. Okay.
Right. Well, then I have more incentive than ever to win because, granted, I wasn't prepared to go back in WTC, but I might as well go in the deep end, feet first. Hell with it.
I love this comment. right here.
Oh,
From
wow.
Adam Pearson. Adam Pearson is a fantastic human being.
Yeah.
It's Greg Cherry, Mr. Meacham. I developed a lot of my wrestling knowledge and passion watching XMV as a much younger man, as did I. He and Stagger Lee helped make me the legend that I am. And you are a legend, Mr. Pearson.
I have so many replies when stuff like that happens. First of all, I'm tickled to death that stuff like that comes up. The heel in me goes, spell my name right, jackass. But most of me goes, oh, spine curving, hair green. I made somebody else a legend. I'm a legend. I feel old because, yeah. And I were talking about this when we did the anniversary for Talk Wrestling back in July. Next year is 15 for Talk Wrestling and 20 for the No DQ Media stuff overall. Like, Jeebus.
Yeah.
Like, and what's really funny is the day we come back from the Jericho cruise is Extreme Mayhem's anniversary, October 25th.
There you go.
So
next year will also be 5 years for WTC because it debuted in 2017.
Yeah. So 2022 is gonna be a kick-ass little year. I'm not gonna lie. Hopefully, work-wise for sure, but overall we'll see how the business goes. Because if you're to believe conventional, rumor and innuendo, we're gonna have a Rocky versus Roman main event at WrestleMania, which is gonna be phenomenal with all hopes out there. But Again, we're getting to the weird thought stuff, but this is a weird thought here, so we'll go ahead and tie it in. That's fine. I don't really know what the future holds for WWE as far as management ownership. Like, I don't know are we going to see, these guys own WWE in a year's time? Like, it's been rumored for so long. Like, it's a very interesting, very weird concept to think about. The McMahons not being in direct control of the WWE.
Mm-hmm. It's a weird thing to think about, and it's something that's been coming up quite a bit lately.
Yeah, and I've been going back and reading Tim Hornbaker's book about the corruption within the NWA back in the day when they were having the Justice Department investigate them for monopolies and whatnot. And it's like, man, you think about how the government just targeted the NWA and the brand and all the little territories like crazy. And, Vince McMahon's son, 30 years later, went, hold my beer, wiped everybody out. It's crazy.
Well, we'll see what happens there. Now,
yes.
As we wait for potential super chats, I'm going to read some weird thoughts. So here we go.
This is nowhere near as funny for me as the state laws, but some of these are just tremendous. I love these pieces.
If a stealth bomber crashes in a forest, does it make a sound?
Damn it. I don't want to find out if that's true because then somebody's going to kick it unless they have a freaking self-navigated one.
Yeah. This is one, okay, I like this one because it's always, it drives me nuts.
Right.
And I think I've brought this up at some point. Why do we sing Take Me Out to the Ball Game when we're already there?
Thank you.
Like, take me out to the ball game. Wait, I'm already here.
Well, I again, if you don't know the story of why the 7 minute stretch is a thing, first of all, go take a history class. Second of all, it's literally because the president was such a big, giant walrus of a human being that he stood up to stretch in the middle of the 7th inning in between the half innings, and everybody stood up to go because it's the president. You said to show respect, and then he was like, "Okay," and sat back down. And everybody's like, "Oh, he's not leaving." All right, that was it. That was literally it, and it's become the song, and Cracker Jack getting worldwide promotion forever and ever now. Instead of rooting for the home team, you root for whatever team, the stadium you're in right now. Unless you're in Fenway Park, and you don't cheer for Boston just because you're a dick if you do. Because screw the Red Sox. Anyway, but yeah, it's funny how that's evolved from President. I'm pretty sure it's President Taft. Remember right? Just standing up and just needing to stretch that big gut of his. So funny.
Next one. If a mute swears, does his mother wash his hands with soap?
Oh, Jesus Christ. That's terrible. That's so bad.
Yeah.
Because now I'm having like Helen Keller movie flashbacks and going, stop the memory, stop the mentals. Ah!
See, something that what I might do is I might go through all the weird thoughts and then bring back the state laws just to recycle through them.
There you go. And, for the record, if you have a mute washing their hands after swearing, you're COVID friendly, so that's a good thing.
Yeah. Where do forest rangers go to get away from it all?
Yeah, that's I mean, how far into the mountains do you go before it's like, dude, I have to go back to work.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
This one's stupid.
But it made me laugh. Well, yeah.
It's stupid, but it made me laugh.
Yeah.
If a parsley farmer is sued, can they garnish his wages?
Oh, Jesus Christ.
It's so stupid, but it made me laugh.
That is a straight up out of the bank of Frank Meacham dad joke. That is tremendous. That's great. I'm telling him that when he's going to be home in about 20 minutes. That's the best one we've heard. It's so stupid, but it just can't see it. Just gets worse when you think about it more and more.
When sign makers go on strike, is anything written on their signs?
Oh, jeez. I've actually seen that where they have like hand to God, there was a factory in I want to say it was like one of the states you wouldn't give a shit about that normally happening or whatever. But yeah, they were it was a sign making company and they were outside with signs with stuff written on, and people are going, you're kind of like defeating your purpose. Yeah. It's like, oh jeez. I like going out and putting in the chat room there.
Yeah. Click that on the same time. Yeah. What do they say in Greece if something's all Greek to them? That's a good point.
Yeah. Oh, these are great.
Would a fly without wings be called a walk?
Oh, God. That's up there with the freaking parsley one. That's bad.
Now the parsley one's better.
The parsley one's the best one, no question about it, but it's in the same vein. Oh, jeez. I got a headache from laughing so hard, like trying to keep it in.
Why do they lock gas station bathrooms? Are they afraid someone will clean them?
Right? Thank you. God. And if you've ever been out in the middle of BFE and you got to go, man, you know the feels, man, because you are trying every position you can to not actually touch that thing. Oh, yeah. You are freaking Cirque du Soleil experts in that moment. I'll tell you what, dude. Like, go to Vegas and apply for a job because you learn in a hurry.
When companies ship styrofoam, what do they pack it in?
I've always thought that. I've always wondered what the answer to that question is. Like, if you pack it in styrofoam, how much is your purchase? How much is the company? How much stuff you got to send back? Or you just keep it all and say, ha, bonus.
Yeah. If the cops arrest a mime, do they tell him he has the right to remain silent?
Oh, jeez. Oh, that's awful. That's just awful.
Some of these are just dumb, but they're funny.
But you know what? It's like, I was talking about all the time, like stupid Adam Sandler funny doesn't appeal to everybody, but a couple of the things will appeal to everybody. Right? Like, like an entire movie won't be like everybody's cup of tea, but one or two of these jokes, it's great stuff. Yeah. Oh man.
You know how most packages say open here? What is the protocol if the package says open somewhere else?
Oh wow. I would be in a factory and do that just to mind screw people. I would. Like open elsewhere. Just watch the freaking heads explode from afar.
Why do you ask? Why do you ask someone without a watch what time it is?
Oh, jeez, right. Speaking of open here, JJ, I hate you. He sends this to me in the mail going, you can't open this till Renegades recap on Sunday. but it's a gift and you have to wait. I'm like,
yeah, it's like if somebody ships a box to you and be like, you can't open that until you hit 1,000 days as champion.
oh.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Hey. Did you not have one of the greatest moments in the history of your life on that day? Kiss my ass.
It was a fun day.
In that vein, I actually, we've got it penciled in. Sarah Priebus is going to go one-on-one with Jeff Meacham in October.
Nice.
She is one of the chillest people in the history of the world. I love her to pieces.
I love Sarah. She's
great. She's great.
Not enough good things can be said about Sarah.
No, and anybody says bad is going to get, a high five to the face with a chair from me. So.
Yeah, got punch him in the face with my foot.
Ooh, if I get my leg that high, I'll do it. But it's a rough go these days.
I'll make it work. I'll jump.
That's right. Well, white man can clearly not jump, at least with me.
Tim. Yeah. Someone once told me I wasn't very observant, but you know what? That was his or her opinion.
Good night, everybody. That's it. Between the parsley one and that one, that's it. It's over.
All right, we're going to the Wednesday Q&A. There are a few questions.
There actually were a few questions I saw. That was actually a nice thing to see. Usually people wait till the end or they don't. It's like, come on, guys.
Let's see. Shane Pinson has a couple. Adam Cole, Bray Wyatt, and Bryan Danielson to AEW. Pretty sure, yeah.
Yes. Possibly, more than likely, in that order. Yeah. Adam's only not there this week because his thing runs out Friday. It's like they freaking just a little bit of an extension. So, it's.
We have no idea with Adam Cole. He might show up on SmackDown and swerve everybody.
Which would be a hell of a thing. I would be, as much as I want to see him grow and go beyond what he's already presented, which has been freaking awesome. Let's not kid ourselves. Mm-hmm. Showing up in SmackDown just to make everybody have a big old curveball in the face would be like, what? Great.
Falcons or Jaguars, either one to the Super Bowl?
No, not for a long while.
No, They were both bottom of their divisions, I believe.
Yeah, the Jags were the bottom of the league.
Yeah, so
the Jags out crapped the Jets. Like seriously, just saying. Like,
Trevor Lawrence, even with him starting for Jacksonville, don't expect it. And also Travis Etienne is out for the year. He had a Liz Frank injury.
Yeah,
so he's not even going to participate.
No, and the thing is, I've had a couple people ask me, are the Jags or anything else in that conglomerate going to do anything that since they're throwing so much money away at AEW? It's like, first of all, not throwing money away. They're signing people that are getting a buzz. First of all, second of all, Tony Khan's father has more money than should be allowed for any human being in the history of humanity. Like, he's fine. It'll be okay with money going out to the Jags. It'll be all right.
In that same vein, Chris N asks, with the NFL adding the extra regular season game, do you think teams will clinch playoff spots even earlier? This would be in the last few weeks will be boring potentially.
We talked about that at the end of the season last season. We talked about that.
Yes, I say yes and no because it's only one game. It's not like they're adding like 8 games to the schedule. That would probably have a little more of a discrepancy. Adding one game is not going to throw it off too much. Right. It does mean that they could potentially clinch earlier, depending how they do. But it also gives those like mid-range teams another chance to potentially earn their way into the playoffs. Because you remember, each side has 7 spots now.
Yes.
So it's going to be, it's not like it's the same 6 spots that was even a couple of years ago.
Right.
So now that you have the 7th spot, you have the one that clinches the entire conference, and then you have, the 6 that play on the wild card. It's going to get to a point where they're going to add an 8th team to each side, and they're just going to do a regular bracket. And then the teams that always clinch the bye and the wild card are like, what the hell, man?
But you know what? Honestly, because you being a numbers guy, Mikey and I being, it's like, dude, a regular bracket size layout would be so much better. God, because trying to figure out, I'd rather 8-4-2-1. It's that easy, and it's easy because it's supposed to be.
Of course, they could do what I did. I did 17-8-4-2-1.
Although
I don't think you can do that.
I had the buy thing out of it, so why am I bitching? So I didn't win, but
Chris also asks, will there be any unexpected jumps by year's end to AEW from WWE? I'm thinking of Sasha and or New Day potentially. I think Sasha is. I think she's WWE for a long time because that's where her major exposure came from. Now, granted, there are people who had their major exposure in WWE. They're going to AEW and Impact and all that stuff.
Right.
Sasha has had her Star Wars deal because of WWE.
Yep.
She's had all these opportunities. I don't see Sasha leaving. Kofi's been there forever. I feel like he's a lifer, but then again, I thought Big Show and Mark Henry were lifers. And look at how.
If anybody of the three members of New Day were to leave, and I would be confident in saying it's likely, it would be Woodsy.
Yeah, it would be Woods because I feel like, especially now with two members of the party potentially gone, that he would want to keep that together. And Cesaro's still there, but like the YouTube stuff, the gaming stuff is his life, and he has his job with G4.
Mm-hmm.
So you're right. I think if any member of the New Day were to leave, Biggie's in a good position. Kofi's been forever.
Yep.
Woods would be that guy, and Woods would be fun. It's not like it would be a detriment to his family. He's got so much stuff in the video game world that he'll be fine.
Yeah, Austin Creed would, I think, do well being able to multitask or multiverse, if you want to use his lingo, himself outside of AEW. He would. I want to see what happens with the briefcase first before I say anything about where Big E's going. And again, Big Show should have been, Mark Henry should have been. Kofi has that loyalty to Vince McMahon and has that appreciation for the McMahon family that I know that Paul White and Mark Henry both did also, and do to this day, from what I'm told. But Kofi's at the point of his career now. It's like, if he goes at this point, why? Like, do we need, as lifelong diehard wrestling fans, do we need to see Kofi Kingston versus people in AEW who haven't seen him wrestle yet? I don't think I need to see that personally. And again, I love Kofi, Dylan's favorite, but I'm not like, oh my God, if Kofi Kingston jumps to AEW, I'm going to go buy a ticket and see him face people I haven't seen him face. It's not really like a, oh my God moment like we had Friday, like we had with, I'll even give Christian Cage that rub because he has really not only helped AEW, but tremendously helped Impact by being there. So, I don't see Kofi being that needle mover for me. I'm not digging on Kofi, just saying how I feel.
Right. We do have a $1 super chat from
cool.
This Experience. No wheel spin, but still the super chat is greatly appreciated.
Yes.
What is the appeal of Becky Lynch, and where do you see Bobby and Brock ever going at it in the ring? Lashley and Lesnar, if it goes right, could happen at Survivor Series. If Lesnar gets the shot at Reigns and wins the Universal Championship, you could potentially see WWE Champion Bobby Lashley versus Universal Champion Brock Lesnar at Survivor Series. Maybe. Possibly.
And for the record, it's at the Barclays, which will pop that place like crazy. So,
yeah. As far as what is the appeal of Becky Lynch, Becky's ability to be snarky, it's her promo ability mostly.
Yep.
I don't want to knock in-ring work because that's not my thing. But I will say, of the four horsewomen, I feel like Becky's in-ring work is the bottom of the four. And
that sounds more negative than it is.
Yeah.
Because you've got four stellar in-ring workers there. It's just Becky's the I mean, it's like being the worst of the horsemen of Barry, Arn, Tully, and Rick. Like, oh, okay, So.
Yeah, it's like it's not a knock to her in-ring work because the other three of them are at such a high level. Yeah, so like it's being the lowest out of a group of incredibly high performers is still really good.
Yeah, Becky had to increase the snark and had to increase the character because the ring work. Nobody's touching Charlotte or Sasha of those four. Nobody's touching those girls. Bayley is a great worker also, but I noticed her game picked up exponentially when she turned heel.
Oh yeah.
So,
Bayley is a heel is gold. I hope they keep her as a heel when she comes back from injury, or even if they bring her back randomly to host, Ding Dong Hello, just as like the segment. She doesn't have to get physical, but if she can do like the segments in the ring.
Well, here's the thing, to quote my shirt, which is also like Greg Cherry's Teespring, by the way, and on mine as well. So if she were to return as a heel, it would be the first time, to my knowledge, that all four of them are on the same side of that proverbial fence.
Yep. And then what do you do? I mean, I think at some point you have the faction with all four of them and make it an official faction.
Well, if that were to happen, and if they still had the MMA ladies on the roster, I'd be all about it. But
they got rid of
the women's division is so much of a cluster right now. If you have four women dominating everywhere, everybody else gets that terrible B word we talked about at the start of the show. And then if you learn an entire division, then what do you do?
Yeah.
So.
Chris LaBelle, question for the Q&A. Do you think that Darby will turn heel to go versus Punk, or is it face versus face? I think it's face versus face. It's really a showcase match. It's not like a wild feud that they're having. It's a showcase match for Punk to come back, and they trust Darby Allin to be that guy.
Yeah, I mean, they had Darby throw out the teaser that was the worst, again, part of the worst kept secret in the history of the business. Punk had mentioned on TV. But I don't see – this is very much like, Darby Allin needing to know if he can go against CM Punk. It's very much like what they tried to do with Shawn Michaels and Hulk back in 2005. And, of course, Terry insisted he turn heel because, it's business. So, okay. But I don't see any need for Darby to turn. Darby's kind of an ambiguous character anyway. Like, he's not really either way. People just happen to like the kid.
Mm-hmm.
But he doesn't outwardly, go out of his way to be a nice guy or a happy-go-lucky kid. He's just there doing his thing. So I don't see any need to tweak that whatsoever.
Yep. Timmy Funster says, when will quizzes be back? Tomorrow. Jack of all trades.
Every Thursday, baby.
But if you're talking about the trivia matches themselves, I actually, as soon as we're done with this, I am going to edit Jack of all trades. And then I'm going to put together the list of 16 that I want for the and I won't announce that. I might do like a special Greg Cherry show announcing the bracket like I did for the last one. But I want to confirm everybody's entry first.
Definitely.
Which is
for the record, I'm still staying out of that one. Jack of all trades is a rare jump back in. I am staying out of that bracket, man. No way.
Yeah. I will say... whether or not it applies to you, Jeff, whoever is the reigning Jack of all trades champion at the time the bracket is announced is ineligible with.
Okay. Well then I'm gonna win for sure tomorrow. Damn it. I want to be a part of that. Oh, it scares me. Anyway. But yeah, tune in tomorrow. Like I said, tomorrow's gonna be busy as hell. But I'm looking forward to every bit of it. I really am. I'm gonna enjoy myself.
And Tim Davis, not a question, but he says Packers are one of the teams to beat in the NFC. Packers are always one of the teams to beat in the NFC. The thing is, with all the off-field drama with Aaron Rodgers this season, you wonder if they're going to get their stuff together. But I feel like the Packers somehow rally around, and they're always amongst the best teams in the NFC.
Agreed.
I figure a 13-4 record for them this season. I figure they're going to win their division.
Yeah. Exactly.
Daniel says, have you guys seen the recent Spider-Man No Way Home trailer? If you haven't yet, go watch it. Like what The Miz says, it's awesome.
Man, I had heard and had it confirmed who was going to be in that movie, but spoiler alert, fast forward if you're on demand. See now from Melina, the end of that trailer was like, Doc Ock's back, bitches. So I was all about it. Because that's my favorite of the Tobey movies. Doc Ock and 2 was just the best of the 3 for me. So.
Who eventually beats Roman for the belt if rumor is Rocket Mania and Brock in 2023 at Mania? Can you imagine if Roman held it the entire time?
Dude, can you imagine Roman just beat Cena in a major marquee match that was very unlike their match?
Clean as a whistle, too.
Clean as a whistle. Can you imagine if he beats The Rock and Brock Lesnar in the same fashion? Like, dude, will there ever be a more made guy in the history of the friggin' business? Like, for real? Yeah. Dynamite is on the air.
Yes, and Boston Punk, James.
Oh, wow.
Tony Michelle today. I didn't see that.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Wow. A lot of NFL news. I did not see that.
I didn't either. I mean, you know, the Pats are trying to find their identity now that they've lost Tony and not Tony, excuse me.
Tom Brady
and Gronk. So, you know, the best thing they can do for themselves is just find a way to get Belichick out of that damn headset. Just go because, you know, he's not the coach. And again, I'm not going to try to give him any credit whatsoever. So Lord forgive me if I do here. He's not the coach that he was without Brady and Gronk and, you know, the other support system there. So I would find a way to take him, at least if he's going to be the GM, fine, but take him on the sidelines.
Traded to the Rams for draft picks. Wow.
That's interesting kink to that. That's really interesting now. All right. I mean, I don't mind seeing you know, Sonny here, but that's interesting.
All right, everybody, thank you very much for joining us. We greatly appreciate it. Thank you for the super chat. We will see you guys tomorrow for the Jack of All Trades show. You can super chat there if you wish as well, but it's going to be a big show. It's Jeff Meacham versus Liam Winard versus Tempest, the reigning Quizlemania champion, versus the first ever WTC Jack of All Trades champion, Russell Tux, Andy Datson. That is tomorrow, 5 o'clock Eastern, right here exclusively on the Greg Cherry Brand channel. If you're not subscribed, go subscribe to it now. If you're watching somewhere else, go to YouTube, Greg Cherry Brand. Subscribe now if you want to see that match, because it's going to be insane. Go watch Dynamite. Have a good night, and we'll see you next time on the Greg Cherry Show.